Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Pursuit 365 podcast for Real Estate and Finance Fridays with your host, Shelly Smee. And today on the program, I have another one of my wonderful realtor colleagues, Shannon. And Shirley's joining us today from, it looks like your office out in, where are you located, Shirley?
Fort Langley.
In Fort Langley. Oh, it's great out there. It's really, there's a lot of artisans. And what's your favorite thing about being based out of Fort Langley?
Lots of walking trails, and we're within walking distance to restaurants, shopping. It's just a great environment, and I have a dog, and the dog just loves it. Yeah.
Great. Well, if my dog barks or your dog barks during our filming, it'll give more authenticity to everything. Um, how long have you lived in the Fort Langley community, Shirley?
It was 1 year in June. It's only 1 year. We moved. I lived in North Vancouver for since 1995. So
Wow.
yeah.
That was
Yeah, and we moved to Fort Langley knowing that we would like to be in Compass soon. So we didn't want to
right.
wait. Yeah.
Great. Well, that brings up the topic of what we're going to focus on today, Compass Cohousing. For any of you who have watched a number of my previous episodes or have been following the podcast religiously, you know that I am a proponent for the co-housing movement. And I also live in a co-housing development right now in Burnaby. But I have discovered a new co-housing. Well, I wouldn't say it's that new, perhaps, because it takes a long time for these projects to come together. But Shirley is part of the group that is in the final stretches of the development of Compass Co-housing. And Shirley, what made you decide that Compass was going to be the right community for you?
Well, I first heard about co-housing from my son and daughter-in-law. They were also living in North Vancouver, but my daughter-in-law Nicola, she's aware of Windsong for quite
Right.
some time, and when there was a unit for sale, they jumped at the opportunity right away. And so I got a chance to visit Windsong. And I really liked the concept of shared resources. I was most impressed with the dining area, like the kitchen and the dining area, the kids' play area, the guest rooms. So when they told me that there is a new development coming, that's Compass. So we inquired right away, and that's how we got started.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I when I saw that I had actually helped a client buy into Cranberry Commons, and then when I saw that there was a 3-bedroom unit had come up in Cranberry Commons, I jumped on it as well because at the time I had my aunt coming to live with me. It was still in the middle of COVID. It was 2021, and where she was living, she wasn't doing very well, and there was a lot of special needs people coming into her seniors housing, let's put it that way. And
Yes,
it
yes.
was just very chaotic for her there. So coming to Cranberry Commons was a real change for me. I have to admit, I had known about co-housing and I had, read all the information about it, but there's nothing. And of course, being in COVID, we weren't doing our community meals. There was a lot of things that make co-housing amazing that we weren't able to do at that time. But as things loosened up and we started having our regular Monday night potlucks, and it was great for my aunt because she's retired, and there was a lot of elder people here as well as a lot of families and children. So the diversity and age range, she had built-in friends right away, and it was great for her because she'd been very isolated where she had been living before. So
Yeah, I understand because my aunt, we have a 94-year-old aunt when we were living in North Vancouver, and she lived like about she lived in Lynn Valley then, which is like 5 minute drive from us. But when she needs something, it's still a you still have to spend some effort to go. So we then invited her to live with us at our place then. So it was easier if we were going to the grocery store, she could just share a ride or. So it's the same concept as in co-housing, right? We could carpooling or dog care when we're traveling. We could have somebody look after our dog. Could always, if you're short of sugar or egg, you could just knock on next door and say, "Can I borrow an egg or
Yeah.
sugar?" You don't have to go to the grocery store, right?
Yeah.
So those,
Well, in our common house, we have some of those things sort of stocked as well, because sometimes there's like seasonal events. We always have um, seasonal meals together in the holidays. And, sometimes there'll be a team of people that get together and make food and have the whole community there at the same time. Other times, people can book out the room for their own family gatherings. And the first, or I guess the second year we were here, maybe it was the first year, we were allowed to have family over whenever that was. It's all a blur now, the COVID blur, right? Like what actually happened. And of course, in real estate, we were so busy, like it was nuts.
yeah,
Everybody's supposed to be, hunkering down in their homes, and all of a sudden, everybody decides where they're living isn't practical and decides to move. And I don't know about you, but I still kind of feel a little bit like it was a bad dream, right?
oh, yeah,
Yeah. But I think the first big family gathering I had all my stepkids, their grandparents, my family, my dad's girlfriend's family. I think we had 29 people
wow,
for
yeah,
a turkey dinner for Thanksgiving. And I could have never pulled that off in my own apartment. There's no way. And
yeah,
there's two ovens. Like, the thing that I find really exciting about now being um, part of this new community for
yeah,
Compass is, although most of the big picture details are already taken care of, all the architectural drawings, all of that development side,
yeah,
it's up to the community to then decide, okay, these are, this is how we're going to finish off the project. This is how we want certain things to be, certain things to look. And people have an opportunity to um, help create the kind of resources and the kind of um, community tools that they're going to have, whether it's in the kitchen or the playrooms or the fitness rooms. Tell us a little bit about the type of amenities that Compass is going to have.
We have 2 guest rooms. We have a workshop. We have a kids play area, common dining, a common kitchen, an outdoor grassy area. So that's what else? There's gonna be plenty of multi-purpose rooms and lounging area.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like for the past years, we've always have a big house because we needed a workshop and we needed a guest room, a hobby room. Come to think about it, our guest room is mostly empty. Like maybe we use it 5 days of the year. So like I purchased a 3 bedroom unit, about
Mm-hmm.
1,000 square feet. I used to live in I used to live in a 2,700 square foot home, and before that a 4,500 square foot home because I had my office at home. My husband and I, we both have our office at home. So now we always say one plus one is equals more than, I can't even say three because it's more than three. You buy a
Right.
1,000 square foot home and you've got use of a 4,000 square foot amenity like a workshop. You don't
Yeah,
have to buy your own tools, they're there.
well, and that's one of the things I'm super excited about, and one of the reasons why Compass was appealing to me is I'm going to downsize as well.
Yeah,
I go from this 3 bedroom because my aunt's not with me anymore. She
yeah,
moved with family to Alberta to be
Yeah.
with her brother and her brother's family.
Yeah.
But I've already met at the social we had on the weekend. I met the other lady who's very much into glass, and
Oh
I'm
yeah.
actually wearing some earrings that I
Oh
made. Yes, so doing that kind of crafts.
yeah.
We've already got two ladies that are want a kiln in the workshop, so it looks
Yeah.
like that's going to happen. And in meeting, the more I meet more of the community members, because there's 40 units altogether, isn't there?
Yes, there are 40 units. Yeah.
And how many are left now? Because let's not forget to
Yeah.
mention one of the main reasons you're on the show today is you're actually representing and
Yeah.
have a few of these on MLS right now.
Yeah.
So, how many units are total currently available through MLS listing?
Only two are listed on an MLS right now.
Right,
Yeah, and there's still five other units available that are not listed on the MLS.
right.
Basically, it's over 83% sold, and that's amazing for a project like this. Yeah.
Well, and I think one of the things that people sometimes get confused about, I know as I've been educating people and doing more and more podcasts and discussions, and of course talking to all my colleagues at Oakwyn, is this is a strata.
Yes.
This is not a co-op.
Yes.
So it's important for people to understand that what makes it a unique type of a strata building, I guess, the build out,
Yes.
is that all of the owners are the developer.
Yes.
So all of your deposits and all of what you put down is going directly to build your homes.
That's right.
And there's really, even though some people think that there might be a bit of a premium on the price when you look at comparable resales, you're getting brand new product with the latest technology. I understand that we're going to have EV charging stations for
Yes.
majority of the parking stalls.
Yes. Yeah.
So you're really getting the top technology and build out at a price that the other thing that I think it's very hard to value and people don't really understand until they come to a co-housing community and see how people interact and how it works is the value of connection.
That's
Like,
right.
how do you even value that? How do you even value that? Because I think the pricing is great. I mean, I did my due diligence before I decided to purchase. I had known about Compass for probably 6 months.
Yeah.
And just, I've been following all the different co housing and the forming groups. And I've, had discussions with different groups around the province. And, it's a long haul. I mean, when you talk to some of the original people,
Yeah.
I think Doug's been at this, what, 8 years now?
Yes, yeah, they've
7 years?
put in a lot of work. The founders or the original, they've put in a lot of work. Lucky for us, we come in at the last, the last later
All
stages.
the heavy lifting's been done already.
That's right, yeah, and the location is very good. Like one of the, it's you've got with our location. First of all, it's adjacent to the James Anderson Park, which is 6.5 acres, and then it's close to Costco, Walmart, London Drugs. It's near the bus. Transit is very accessible. So
And when the future line
that's
comes through, it'll be what, like an 8 or 10 minute walk to which station again?
the SkyTrain station,
Yeah, but
Willowbrook SkyTrain station.
Willowbrook.
Yes,
I had
yeah,
it on the tip of my tongue there.
yes,
So the thing that I loved when I actually went and took my dog for a walk out there last week, and we walked that walk in behind, basically across the street.
yeah,
I believe is that 66th. It's like 66th and 203rd.
yes, that's right.
So I walked across the street behind all the townhouses, and walking down, I came around the corner between the townhouses on that path, And oh my goodness, I took a picture of it. Mount Baker
Oh,
in
yes.
the background. It was
Yeah.
stunning. And then I look over just to my right in the corner of my eye and I see there's the Costco parking lot, but it's behind a park.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
it's like the
Yeah.
problem with being able to walk to Costco is you're going to have a little cart. Because I don't know what you can carry home on foot from Costco because usually everything's so
Yeah.
big.
You're tempted to buy something you don't need.
Well, the thing is, if you know you're walking to Costco, you
Yeah.
better have a little red wagon
Yeah.
or something because you can't get a thing of toilet paper or whatever home.
Yeah.
But that brings up another great thing about co-housing that we do here at Cranberry is group buys.
Oh, okay.
So, talking about toilet paper and paper towels and, a whole crate of oh, what was it? My neighbor and I bought a little while ago. Oh, a whole flat of organic chickpeas.
Yeah.
Like a can, it was like 24 cans
Yeah. Oh,
of
I see.
organic chickpeas.
Yeah.
You can, I'm probably in a couple years wouldn't use 24 cans of chickpeas.
Uh,
But we also have there's a nut place out in Kelowna. Trying to
yeah.
remember the name of it. They're not paying for this podcast, so I don't have to remember their name. But doing group buys for things at the holiday season, we all ordered like nuts and dried fruits together
Yeah.
and got a bulk discount. One of our members, she's very connected to a lot of the um, growers
Yeah.
and farms out
Yeah.
in the valley. I think
Yeah.
she has some friends or family out there, and she's always getting us honey.
Yeah.
She goes out
Mhm.
there, so I think there's a lot of benefits for saving money in the long run, as well as also doing the group meals.
Yes.
At,
Yeah.
at Cranberry, we don't have it as well organized as, say, in North Van at Driftwood. I
Yeah.
have some friends and clients that are in Driftwood, and I think I've noticed this with some of the communities that are newer. Everybody's gung ho to do the group meals at
Oh.
the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah.
you take your turn cooking.
Yeah.
Everybody's kind of decided as a group what kind of menus they'd like. And then you do your turn cooking, and then you don't have to cook
Yeah.
yourself
Yeah.
when there's a rotation and you just show up and dinner's ready.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Oh,
don't know if do you think we'll get into that? Do you think there's people that have talked about doing group meals?
well, we've had some social potluck, and the
Yeah.
meals have always been very good. And there's some vegetarian people, and they've come up with some very creative recipes. I think there's a big group of people who likes cooking. And what happens is when somebody cooks, then you feel like, oh, you want to reciprocate. I
Yeah.
think that's
Yeah.
what's happening. Yeah.
Well, I love cooking, and back a while ago now when all the stepkids were at home, there was 4 teenage boys.
Yeah.
And I find it really hard to cook a small amount of food.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
just for myself, I'm always cooking what I want to cook,
Yeah.
and it ends up making however much it makes. And then I'm calling my friends and like tonight's potluck night here, and I made a huge thing of soup on the weekend, and I don't have to make something for potluck tonight because I've got the soup made already.
Yeah. You know, I always like food that's prepared for me because sometimes when I'm doing the cooking, I smell all of it, and then by the time I'm eating, I lost my appetite because. Yeah. But when
Right.
it's somebody prepared the food, it's just so much better because I love to eat too. Yeah.
Yeah, well, there goes Coco. So, one of the things that people will want to know about the condos, I mean, this community is one thing, but the actual physical environment is, of course, a big consideration for people. So, the 2 units that you have on MLS now, tell me a little bit about what configuration they are and
Okay.
what's available.
Yeah. So one is Unit A103. It's a 3-story townhome with 1,400 square feet. Okay. So the main floor has the living room and the kitchen. and the top floor has 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, and the ground floor, the basement, has a living room, and it's sort of like a could be used as a granny suite, or or if you a mortgage helper. It's got an entrance from the courtyard, so
Right.
it's great for families with teenagers too.
Yeah, yeah, they'll
Actually,
be sneaking out and at night. You gotta put a pretty good lock on that door that or a
yeah,
ding dong that dings when they leave. So
yeah, yeah.
or a
Actually,
student might be good for a student.
I originally purchased one of those townhome unit because we have our 94-year-old aunt we're
Yeah.
planning to live with us, but then she went back to Alberta to live with her daughter. But originally we were gonna make that basement her own kitchen,
Right.
put the kitchenette. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And how about the other unit?
the other unit is A104. It's a 2 bedroom, 2 bathroom unit with 879 square feet. And what's nice about this is, the living room and the dining room is in at the center. So
Yeah, I was actually gonna buy that one, and then
yeah,
it took me over 2 weeks to figure out which one I wanted to go for, and I'm still kind of humming and hawing, but part of my thing was, oh no, I really need to downsize.
yeah,
But I really wanted to get a big one just because they all look so beautiful. They all were very thoughtfully designed.
yeah, that's right. There's several configurations, and so that you could get a diversity of people. Like, you don't want to cater to just one demographic. Yeah. So these two, I mean, these two um, should the first one would be ideal for families with children too, and the second one, A104, somebody, even like a couple with a teenage child, or a couple with somebody, another member of the family would be good, or two people sharing a home. Yeah.
Right.
I wish when my kids were very small, I used to go to McDonald's because they have a play area, and I would take them to IKEA too because they have a playroom. Those balls, the
Yeah.
multicolored balls. And I was thinking, what a great place, a co-housing project like this. What a great place for children, and
Yeah.
for many members who have grandchildren. The kids' play area is also one of the main attraction.
Yes. Well, I know at Cranberry, um, it's a 22, 23-year-old complex now, and the kids' play area still gets used just as much. And actually, on the Canadian Co-housing Network website, when they explain about co-housing, Cranberry's in there from early on, and all those kids in that video are all grown up now. And there's a whole turnover happening in the last few years, and we have three new families with young kids, and there's dress up stuff, there's like all sorts of stuff. And when you're having your family get together or your community meal, keeping kids at the table can sometimes be a hassle, right? Like they're
Yeah,
fidgety, or they finish eating, or they only
yeah,
want to eat, a little bit. But the kids all just get together and run in and go into the play area that's not right in the space, but adjacent to the space. You can hear if anybody has a hissy fit because you can hear them, but
yeah.
they're in their own area and it's their space, and they can keep it as messy or as clean as they want. And we have something here called Work Bees, where once a month we just do a tidy up and have little assignments for little projects to do. And the kids have to clean up their playroom.
Yeah.
But in between then and now, like they can go in there and leave it messy. And if that's how they want to leave it, that's how it is. But most of them are pretty good. They put the stuff away, like they've learned, like that's their space. If they want to keep it nice, they can keep it nice. And most of the time it's pretty much together. But you get 3 or 4 or 5 of them in there playing dress up or doing something, and most of them are the two boys are a little bit older now. They're 10 and 11, but there's some younger kids now, and it's just, I don't know. There's just something about hearing kids play with not a care in the world, and their little creative minds and the stories they make up and what they're doing. I think it keeps everybody young, right? It just sort
Oh,
of
for sure. Yeah,
makes you
for sure. For the
make
kids having children to play with, that's very important. Yeah.
and in a safe place too.
In a safe place, that's right. A few years like before we lived in North Vancouver, we were living in Florida, in Port Charlotte. We lived there for 2 years because of my husband's work. And I remember my kids were small, and we didn't realize it's a retirement community. We didn't realize that, but they went to every door and knocked on every door. Are there any kids to play with? And there's no kids to play with. But with at Compass, there's a few kids, but you know there's going to be grandchildren visiting, but they can have
Yeah.
play dates without having to go too far.
Well, and oh my gosh, you weren't there on the weekend, but we went to the pool party,
Yeah.
and the kids left the gate to the pool open, and my dog Coco, who is a 35-pound Labradoodle,
Oh, okay.
unbeknownst to me, is a swimming dog. She ran and jumped in the pool and started swimming around, not once, but twice.
Wow.
And some of the other dogs that were there, they've all now met each other. And I think there's two Lolas and a Coco. And they all had so much fun playing together. So, you know, it's the kids and the dogs and the pets.
Yeah.
Everybody's, dogs are very social animals too. And you know, they
Yeah.
love to have new friends and play together too. So I'm really looking forward to, I mean, I have great dog walks where I am right now, but the fact that we're adjacent to, what's the trail that's across?
Willoughby Trail. Willoughby.
Willoughby Trail. Okay. And then there's the little forest in behind where the school is. What is that?
James Anderson.
Is that the same
I,
trail? Willoughby
yeah.
Trail? It just goes right through.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And a lot of old growth trees. It's beautiful. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I like to try and keep these somewhat short and sweet, but we haven't
Okay.
gotten down to the nitty gritty yet. So
Yeah.
how can
Mhm.
people get a hold of you, Shirley?
I have my phone number. And do I give you my phone number or?
Well, we're going to put it in
Okay.
in
Yeah.
the bottom of YouTube, how there's the information, but
Yes. Yeah.
what is the best way for somebody to contact you if they want information about the
Email,
process?
email or phone number. I always answer my phone. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yes. Yeah.
And um, we
Com-
have information for.
yes.
Can you
Yeah.
just tell us a little bit about the information
Yeah.
nights?
Every Tuesday from 7 to 8:30, there is an info session night. Okay. But and also anybody interested can also access Compass Cohousing website, which is compasscohousing.com, and there are all the information there. There's also a directory of the current members, photographs of the members, and a short bio. So you get to know who your neighbors will be. Shelly, your picture and bio is not there yet.
No, well, it's still pretty fresh.
Yes, yeah.
It's still pretty fresh, but I haven't even told some of my friends and family that I'm moving yet.
Yeah. But it's great because you know your neighbors. At first when it only took us 15 minutes when we first visited the location, only took us 15 minutes to say, okay, this is the place. Yeah. And then at first I was reluctant. I said, well, I'm going to be living with a whole bunch of strangers. How's that going to be? But, over the course of time, like we participate in meetings, we participated in some decision making processes. I'm getting to know everybody, and people are just friendly. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I have a great group where I am now, but the group that I got to meet most people at the social on the weekend,
Yeah.
it just felt like family, and I brought my best friend of 40 years, because she's not only a hoot to hang around with, but she's a very good judge of character,
Yeah.
and she gives me the straight goods, right? She's one
Yeah.
of those girlfriends that if she's has an opinion about something
Yeah.
or she thinks that I'm being nuts, she keeps me grounded, right?
Yeah.
Because she's a very grounding person. And she's like, oh my God, that was so fun. I was really nervous because,
Yeah.
she's also more of an introvert than I
Yeah.
am. Being realtors, we're usually somewhat extroverted, somewhat comfortable meeting strangers. And she had the best time too. So
Yeah.
it's I think people, a lot of people say, oh, how can you have everybody in your face? Or how can
Yeah.
you live in community where everybody knows what everybody's doing? And it's not really like that because I can go in my unit and shut my door
That's right. Yeah.
and people are respectful.
Yeah.
But you're encouraged to participate because it's your home.
Yeah. And you don't have to participate if you don't want to. But the thing is, the community is there to support each other. That's a nice thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm really glad that we were finally able to connect on the platform here and that
Yeah.
you were able to join us for Real Estate and Finance
Yeah.
Fridays
Yeah.
on the 365 podcast. If you've liked what you've seen today, viewer, please press the like and follow us. We will be having more episodes about co-housing, real estate, everything to do with our Lower Mainland market. And thank you so much, Shirley, for joining today. Shirley Shannon is with Renanza. Is that how you say it?
Renanza Realty. Yes.
Renanza Realty. And she'd be more than happy to help you and introduce you to the Compass Cohousing group. Great.
That's right.
Thanks for coming today, Shirley. You have a great rest of the week.